Good afternoon all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, February 3rd. We are looking at the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. And the bulls finally accomplished what they were trying to do the last 2 days, is fill that gap up above. But that's all they did as we got into M's period a little bit and then totally rejected. What's more important to me right now is what's been going on in M period. We have flushed out 7 times in a row in M period, and I didn't take advantage of it again. I looked to take a short when M pushed back up, thought it might get a little more traction to L's range. I didn't do it, and then it really literally came down, took out our afternoon pullback and flush. Yes, they're rallying again, but I'm telling you, until something changes, what's worked before, right? Traders are going to do what's worked. What's played before affects what happens next. What's worked before, traders are going to do what worked until it doesn't work no more. And this is 7 days in a row. And for my money's worth, I look back at all 7. Most of them, there was one day I wasn't sure the reason, but most of them is because the market got too long. They give it up late in the day and the shorts pile in. Same thing happened today. We had a chance for a trend day late in the day today. 2 sets of single prints. They got filled. L takes out K, takes out J's low, L takes out K's low, and the same game gets played. So all I have today is the day's high and the day's low. 8 wide, I'll look at it, but that's not what I want. I want 9 wide or more. Russell, more impressive today. Russell open inside the day's range, flushed out hard, and then go out and end up at the top of their day. So they ended up pretty good. They ended up with overlapping to higher value, and they closed near the high of the day. Triple Qs, disappointing. Gap higher, missed the all-time high by literally, I think it was pennies in the regular trading hours. So the all-time high is 330.32. They got to 330.20 today. So they missed the all-time high in regular trading hours by 12 cents. And then look at what they do. They go out with a price probe. They have 9 wide, an afternoon rally high in I, and a price probe. So kind of disappointing for their close. For us, again, we are at a 26 time frames. We were 11 wide yesterday, 8 wide today, within a dime of each other. So we have traded 19 out of 26 regular trading hours within a dime of each other. Remember, I said today, if we finally get away from this, we should get a clear winner. It didn't happen. It looked like we might have a clear winner in B, C, and D below it. Nope, sorry. Then it looked like we might get a clear winner in I, J, and K. Get above it, get above the day's high, go trend. Nope, sorry. I want to close right here again. So for whatever reason, buyers and sellers are incredibly happy to do business right here. Until that gets settled, we're going to be there. That's the bottom line. So we'll see what happens. As far as my trades, I had a good day. I did a lot of trading early. I had only 1 loss on the day. So A period. A period opened. We got towards M's low. I took a long. I didn't get that close to M's low, but we had unchanged value. I'm like, I'm going to take it. It was more against value low. I took a 380 call play. That worked out. Then in B period popped A's high and got wrecked right away. It flushed out really, really hard. And I was like, well, we got the single prints. We got the lowest accepted price. If we don't have single prints, I'll be okay. So I took a long when we came back inside, and that one worked out in B period under 381 calls. Then I took a short. When B period, I got out of the long. It was a decent long. B period couldn't get the opening. I took a short, the second 15-minute bar. Look at this. Couldn't get to the opening. I took a short, the 384 puts. That worked out. So again, I took a bunch of them. I also took, I took the long in B initially. Yes, against the lowest accepted price. That's what it was. I'm sorry. Right. Okay. What did I do after that? Well, C opened. We had single prints. And we took out B's low. I'm like, well, I'll take a single print. I'll take a short against that. I took the 383 puts three times. It went up, took it, came back in, took it off. So as long as the singles were holding, When it went up, I put it on. When it came back, I took it off against B's low because we couldn't get back there. Finally, later in the time frame, I'm like, they're going to close these singles. Forget it. I'll wait and see. A lot of times, they fill the singles and come back off. So that's what I did in C, and it worked one more time. Then in D, I took a short against C's high because we were one time framing down, came back in, took it off, made money. Where was my loss? E period. So D stopped the one-time framing down. E started one-time framing up, and I'm like, maybe we hold the opening. I took a short against the opening, 384 put again. Today's expiration, it failed. I got above the opening. I took it off, and I took a loss on that trade. And then in the afternoon, I only took 2 trades. I took a short in G right before we broke F's low, looking to get back. I thought we'd get more out of it. I took a nice 40 put play. I made money on 30 of them, pretty good. I scratched on 10 when we went back up. And then I had a very good trade in I. We finally took out the day's high. I'm saying, okay, we're going to go get yesterday's high, go get the overnight, and finally fill this gap. So I bought the 383 calls. They were trading in the mid-60s to 70 cents. Went up. I did it a bunch of times, and I ended up doing probably about 60 or 80 contracts. 20s went up, took it off. 20s went down. I'm like, we're going to, as long as we're holding single prints. I held this trade. I started it in I held it through J, and then finally in J, I took the rest off. Turned out to be a nice trade. And that's it. I didn't do anything in K, L, or M. Pretty much shame on me that I didn't take a short in M period. But look what M's doing again. So the longs get out, shorts pile in, and now look where N is. Right back to POC. So it's the same game. All right. Destinations for tomorrow. There's only 3 upside destinations left. That's today's high of 383.70. 10 wide POC of 384.53 from January 26th right here. It's 10 wide, not 11 wide. That's because I'm in 4-tick increments. And then the all-time high of 385.85, which is a monthly high. Downside destinations. Well, we don't have anything to today's low now of 380.48. And then we have yesterday's low of 379.60 and filling the gap at 377.34. That's a 226-point gap. So they have us closing at 381.85. So for my first downside destination is $1 and change away. My first upside destination is $2 away. So again, expect major chop like we got today. Let's go to the charts. Monthly, one-time framing up 3 months. I'll call it 4 months after this week, once we have a full week under our belt. Very healthy. Monthly is chugging along. Now, we're not getting distance away from the other 3 the last month's. Well, we haven't even gotten last month's high yet. But it's still healthy. Weekly. 5-week balance. Inside week so far, 3 days in. Outside week down has been rejected so far tremendously. We're $12 higher than last week's low, close. So far, rejected big time. Balance. Daily. Remember, I called it up. Still calling it up. Up. One-time framing up. 2 days. Now, yesterday, we closed at 381.10. Today, we closed at 381.85. So even though we didn't get much after closing the gap, we're still up. We're firmly inside this 5-day balance. So for now, I'm still calling them up. You can't, the bulls, again, as long as the Fed backs this market right now on any push down is being met by sellers drying up because it's only short-term sellers and or maybe some long-term money nibbling away on each pullback. I hope you had a great day trading. Have a great evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.